Hey y'all, my name is Jasmine Jones and I am a licensed clinical social worker, and you're now watching Black Girl, a Therapist in the Wild. And this is a little show I like to call Therapist Sips and Reviews. And today we are reviewing The Polygamist, and we are sipping on lemonade and vodka. Yes. Oh, that's strong. How y'all doing? Ha ha! Nigga. Nigga. I kept seeing the viral, and it was mostly from South Africans, right, that was posting about this show, but it was so many that it ran over into Black Americans posting, and I was just like, what is this show? And I looked it up, and I was like, 22 episodes. I don't feel like, and then like, I put it down, and then I kept seeing the post, and then I was like, let me try. Girl, from the first episode, I spent a day watching this back to back, and I just, oh, Lord Jesus, nigga. So it's long. This is gonna be a long review. We're gonna break it up into sections because it's gonna make it a little bit easier. So first, I'm gonna talk about the women, and the child, because that was a child that he molested. I care what you're talking about. Then we're going to talk about the children. And then we're going to get to Jonas. I want to start with the women because I feel like Jonas isn't evil. We know the evil, the narcissism, the, lack of empathy, the I don't care, the I'm not going to take accountability for my emotions. And any time you try to make me take accountability for my emotions, I'm going to gaslight you. I don't want to give him that much attention because as I tell the story of the women and the children and the devastation that he left behind, we'll talk about Jonas in the process. So his part will probably be very short when I get to it. So I just want you to know that I'm about to go in and I'm about to go hard. So just be prepared. That's the only trigger warning I'm going to give you, because wherever my mind goes as I'm inebriated, and I realized in my last video, because somebody commented and did a whole trigger warning and spoiler alert. And I was like, oh yeah, I did spoil some shit. Maybe I should be doing trigger warnings and spoiler alerts and stuff. But you know what? I just feel like the world, every time you turn on your phone and scroll through some shit, there's a dead baby or somebody's burning up a country or somebody. So no, to heal, we need to be triggered to heal. And so if you're not prepared to be triggered and told about yourself and about the things that you adhere to that are not okay, don't watch this, because I had to learn for myself so I could be free of whatever the fuck that shit is. So you need to be told about yourselves so that you can be free if you are trapped in the mindset of the deviltry and evil of these manipulative motherfuckers in the world. Name of Jesus. So let's get into it. So first we're going to start with the women and the child that he molested. We're going to start with Essie. Essie wasn't the first wife, but she was the first woman in his life. Essie is Annie from Sinners. Essie is the vagina and chicken that she supplies to her man whenever he comes. Essie, the only difference between Essie and Annie is that Essie waited 8 years, Annie waited 7. And this is why I don't like Black men writing about Black women, because they will do the same shit to us in movies, but they'll make us portray our character as if we're fine with it. As if Annie was portrayed as this stoic woman that was fine with living in cryostasis for 7 years, waiting on her nigga with a dead baby in her front yard, and she wasn't crashing out or traumatized at all. And as soon as the nigga came, she said some little snappy things to him, and then she let him bend her over a table and fuck her from behind with no foreplay. I don't know how that's the most romantic sexual scene you've seen in your life. That's disgusting. And then she made him the fried chicken, and then she went to her doom because of that nigga. But she was perfectly fine and still and wonderful through it. She's a two-dimensional character. Essie is the full-fledged version of what Annie was supposed to be, because when a nigga comes back after 7 years, 8 years, and you have a dead baby in your front yard, you're supposed to crash out like this. You're supposed to be a people pleaser. But because black men, they can have us in their stuff, but they can't have us be a full-fledged character with layers and feelings and emotions, because then it would make them, they would have to take accountability for the ways that they've hurt us and damaged our mental health, and they're not going to do that. Tyler Perry tries to low-key do that a little bit, but there's never any accountability. The savior of the black women in his movies is God and a man, when in reality, when women crash out, black women crash out like that, and they heal, they really heal. It's not usually God and a man. It's them finding themselves, understanding themselves, and then connecting with a sisterhood of women that also understand them, and forming a community and growing. And and if a man comes along, that's just extra. That's not the savior of the bitch, okay? And so he doesn't get it right either. He tortures us throughout the movies, and then the savior is a nigga, and absolutely the fuck not. No, this is what happens when a nigga destroys your soul from the inside out by being wishy-washy, lying, gaslighting. Essie, first of all, this nigga was younger than her when he met her. So it looked like when they did have sex, he was a senior in high school. I'm gonna say he was 18, because they use the babies as the passage of time, but when you're in the past, there's no real, they don't say how much time has passed between them being kids, Essie and Jonas, because Essie looked like a teenager, Jonas looked like a 12-year-old, okay, when they first met, and he was getting his ass beat like he should, bitch. No, because they were beating his ass because he took their money. He deserved an ass beating. Fuck him. And Essie fighting the boys off, throwing rocks or whatever the fuck she did, threatening to throw rocks. And then to Essie hiding Jonas in the backyard of her house while he kissing on another bitch, and another bitch at the gate trying to figure out where he's at. Essie has seen that this nigga is a player from jump, but I'm not sure that she's a child molester. Because he might have been 18 at that time, because he was about to go to school, about to go to university, and he basically gaslit her into paying for university. Yes, he did. But Essie interacting with Jonas, seeing his behavior, did not learn her lesson after seeing that behavior with him fucking around with random girls in high school. She may or may not have been a child molester. I don't know. We don't age here properly when we see Essie and him together. So, but the reason why I harp on potentially her being that is because she dates young niggas now, presently, as an adult. And I really feel like she's trying to relive her golden days with Jonas through these young niggas. Okay? Yes. And so it's up in the air. If she's a child molester, fuck it, it's wrong. She's bad. But for right now, she saw him. She saw that he was a player. She still let him finagle his way into her life. And then when he went to university, he's making all these promises. I'm going to come visit you. I'm going to call you every day. And then he did it for a while. And then she didn't hear from him for 8 years. And she sat there for 8 years, and she dated someone else. The local town hood that she had been dating before Jonas came along and like threatened him, and like he stopped talking to her, right? And then she started dating Jonas. But then Jonas went to school, so she went back to the hood nigga, and she had freedom, her child freedom, her son, right? And then he comes back 8 years later, and she finds, so before he comes back randomly and showing up with a red BMW in her front yard, she sees in the newspaper that he married Joyce, the first wife. And so she was just like shocked and appalled that he would marry someone after 8 years of not being in contact with her at all. So we're still overly attached to these men that are wishy-washy and lying. He was a young guy too when y'all were together, so it wasn't even a man yet, not a real man. No. And so like, oh God. So he shows up randomly in her front yard with a red BMW, and this is going to be a theme throughout these women, is that Jonas basically apologizes through gifts. That's why I say when you're dating somebody, money is just a part of the package. It's not the whole package, because if they don't have emotional stability, loyalty, kindness, things like that, then you're just dating a rich nigga that has some mental health issues that is not going to be able to show up for you emotionally, and you're going to end up like one of these bitches, okay? And we need to understand that, because we've been accepting crumbs from these niggas. That's why we like Sinners and said that Annie was the epitome of black womanhood. How is she the epitome of black womanhood when we don't even know her backstory beyond her being in cryostasis in a cabin for 7 years with a dead baby in her front yard waiting on a nigga? We know more about the white woman in that movie. We know about her mama. We know about the plantation that she lives on with her husband. I was thinking about it because she was going to live. They had already written that she was going to live. And that's why that's a part of why. The other half is niggas don't care about black women. That's a part of why, she could have layers in a backstory and have her little soliloquy where she's cussing everybody out and stuff like that. And, and so we're accepting these crumbs in the media and with these celebrities. This movie shows how if you accept those crumbs, you will accept a nigga like this coming into your life with fake ass promises and bullshit and, turning you every which way but loose until you go insane and fuck your shit up, your life up, and all this other stuff, or turn evil, or kill them or some shit. And so this is why I keep telling y'all we have to divest from these niggas that are evil and don't care about nobody but they damn selves. This is the thing I hated about this thing, was that they were mad at each other. Like, this wasn't the main motherfucker causing the problems. They were mad at each other. Why are y'all still being like, when Lindani came down them stairs and that bitch, or when Lindani came out that bathroom and that bitch was hitting her with a belt, I'm like, this is a child. But we'll get to that. Anyway, so Essie, I don't know if she was made this way. We didn't see her life before Jonas. So we didn't know if there was some abuse in her life and her own personal story or anything like that. All we know is that she's a people pleaser and a fixer, and she feels like that has to be her position in life. This woman is gorgeous. When her and Jonas was laying up in that bed as teenagers, or she was a young adult and he was a teenager, who fucking knows? I don't know. She might be a child molester, y'all. The actress that played her was gorgeous. All of these women are gorgeous. And every time I would see this Ninja Turtle looking ass, what's the rat that was the uncle to them? Was it Uncle Shredder? The Ninja Turtle mixed with Uncle Shredder looking ass nigga. I just kept saying, what is it? What is it about? What is it? Is it the money? Girl, ain't enough money, but they don't love themselves enough to realize ain't enough money in the world will make me put up with no ugly nigga making me feel like shit. I don't care. Girl, you better sit back. This is gonna be a long one. I'm going in. I can't. Someone asked me to do the show Industry, and then I looked it up and I was like, it's 5 seasons, 33 episodes. And then I was like, looked at this and I was like, well, I could do 22 episodes of this. So maybe they're only 2. And then I thought about it. I was like, they're 20 something minutes long. For 1. For 2, I got hyper fixated. When I get hyper fixated on some shit, I am talking to myself in my head about it for days. I'm researching, and it's just, a thing is turned on inside of me. I don't know. It depends on how good industry is for me to be able to get so hyper fixated that I can run through the episodes, start researching stuff, and start figuring out. It depends. Anyways, Essie is already primed as a fixer and a people pleaser. So then come back after 8 years. Basically, he tells her they can get married. They have a traditional wedding. I didn't look it up, but I'm thinking that they might have like the traditional weddings, like how other foreign cultures have. Sometimes they have like the traditional wedding, but then we have that too. We have the traditional wedding. We're in the church and stuff, but as soon as you sign the marriage license at the courthouse, you're already married. So the actual wedding in the church is just, extra for if you're religious and you just want to have the ceremony and all that other stuff. But as soon as you sign the marriage license at the court, you're married legally in this country. So, I don't know if they have like a marriage license situation. I don't think they did. I think they just had the traditional wedding. And she was his official second wife, right? And I was watching it. I watched it twice. And, at the traditional wedding, this nigga, basically they have a part where the whole family comes to the gate and calls her name and calls her to come out. The Gamora family wants you to come out. So I'm sitting here like, so the whole family knew, because they couldn't know about her and then not know about Joyce. They had to know about Joyce too. So the whole but that's what niggas do. That's why they can invite you to their family reunions and their families will always choose their side. They're not going to tell you that you're the 15th bitch he done brought to the family reunion. And that don't mean shit. Like when Lawrence went to that girl's family, it don't mean shit. From Insecure, Lawrence from Insecure, when he went to that girl, none of that shit means shit when he introduces you to his mama, because all his family members are ops, because we cater to these niggas. We pedestalize these niggas and they can do no wrong. And then we look up and wonder, why do I have depression? Why do I have anxiety? Why have I developed cancer from being stressed out all these years and being traumatized and being abused? Because we have been taught to accept this behavior, and they take advantage of that vulnerability. Yes, in the name of Jesus. Mm-hmm. So he's visiting Essie, on a regular basis, right? Mm-hmm. And one day, like, she gets pregnant with Sarah, her daughter, and she basically, meets Joyce while they're shopping for baby shit, and they're both pregnant. And Jonas didn't know Joyce was going to be there, but as soon as she saw Joyce, of course he quickly made up a lie in his head and said, oh, this is my brother's wife. And these niggas for 20 years girl basically listened to him and kept up this lie for this Uncle Shredder looking ass nigga. And I'm just like, how weak-minded and easily manipulated are fuck his brother. His brother been dealing with this nigga since before Essie came along. He is primed and ready to do it. He's just mush. His brain is mush. But I'm looking at Essie and I'm just like, how what's going on? And then we get into the story of the whole thing, because we didn't know that Essie was his actual second wife until like a few episodes in. And this whole time Essie been coming over with Sarah and sometimes Freedom, and they're sitting around the family, and we notice that Sarah has an attitude occasionally, but we don't know why and shit. And then one day they're sitting outside with the family, and they're talking about how Mpume is going to work at her dad's office, or Minzy is one of them is working at the dad's office. And then Sarah says some snarky shit like, I wish my dad would let me work at the office. And then Joyce looks at the brother and goes, why wouldn't you let her work at the office? He doesn't say a thing. This is before we know about Essie and them and shit, So I thought I didn't hear something. I thought I skipped a part. Maybe I didn't see a part, whatever the fuck. But no, it was because Sarah been the other woman since she was born, since she was conceived. She been the other woman, and I don't have it in me. And once we find out that Essie is one of the women, the shit that ticked me the hell off was when he visited her house and she was just sitting on the floor staring up at him cheesing while he ate her baked chicken and vegetables. And I just said, look at Annie. And he's sitting there like a damn animal talking about, yeah, this is way to a man's heart is food and blah, 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 blah. And Essie, and then Essie over here talking shit about shit Joyce is going through and shit, like, you happy she going through it. And then when Joyce finally find out, you sitting up here talking about, we were trying to protect you. No, you weren't. You were just doing what your nigga wanted you to do, because that's what you made for. You was just doing what your nigga wanted you to do, and your nigga wanted you to not say shit to Joyce. And because you didn't want to lose your nigga, you didn't say shit to Joyce. And Essie sitting up there watching her daughter Sarah deteriorate. Freedom's a fucking alcoholic and shit, and she just sitting up there making excuses and being around this nigga. And I'm just like, girl, la 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 la. No, because she is deeply entrenched in the sunken place that these niggas have, that they put us in. And I just the girl was lost, but they all were lost because they were fighting over his body. Joyce and her were fighting over his body at the end of this motherfucker. But then I realized because Joyce and him got married when they were teenagers. We'll get to that though. But no. And then Freedom tries to read Essie for filth and like let her know that, look what you did to your kids being around this nigga. And it seems like she might be coming around. Then she sees Sarah over here, like Sarah low-key want her to actually be with the uncle after she realized the dad ain't shit, and the uncle done found him somebody to actually be with, and she just feeling like she about to lose her uncle. So now she think that maybe there's sex all around. Maybe if I try to kiss my uncle on the mouth. No, honey, that's your blood uncle, love. Absolutely fuck not. And then that more was supposed to help Essie step back from this nigga. Oh, girl. But this bitch start thinking about him again and having flashbacks. Like, I think the memories with the soft focus and shit, those are actual flashbacks. They are traumatized. Starts thinking about this nigga again. Then this nigga gets HIV and he's staying with this child, and basically she's showing up damn near every day bringing this nigga food. Essie go, because the way I would have left that nigga in the gutter to die after doing all that shit to me, but I wouldn't be allowing, in the name of Jesus, praise God, I would not be allowing that shit in my life in the name of God. You see, I'm upset, like I'm agitated, like I just got back from work. I was so hyper fixated on this shit all week that I said I'm going to do this shit immediately, because and then Essie, when this nigga dies, is going to steal his body and try to have her own funeral, talking about, oh, that young bitch didn't let me see him, and then Joyce didn't let me see him when she had him. She didn't let me come around him in his last days. And I'm just like, these bitches keep fighting with each other when we supposed to be coming together and saying fuck that nigga. And I just I'm tired. And so that's Essie. She's the fixer, the people pleaser. She don't love herself. She will throw her children under the bus for this nigga, and this nigga takes advantage of her vulnerabilities. Anytime this nigga needs to go somewhere, she is his last resort. If everyone else don't want him in their life, she is his last resort. She will always open the door. When them two bitches abandoned him on his birthday, Essie was there. And I was just like, girl, I'm tired. I'm exhausted. Now I started with Essie because she just lost. The lady is lost, and I just that's why I mean Essie is Annie. This is how Black women actually respond to relationship trauma and relationship emotional abuse. It makes you insane. It makes you fucking insane. A nigga comes back after 8 years and you letting him in your house, you talking to him, you letting him impregnate you, you gonna be the second wife to him, knowing he has a wife already, and you just gonna believe that shit, girl. This is even before this nigga happened. This bitch brain was brainwashed, or some trauma happened to her to make her think that it's okay to be treated like this by niggas. And I think that's why that lady wrote this book, because this is not just in South Africa. I'm talking to Black women with this video, like Black women in the African diaspora, all of us, because you hear about this shit in America where these niggas be having multiple baby mamas, multiple families. Some are known, some are unknown. You hear about this shit in the Caribbean. You hear about this shit over in them African countries. This is it's just the same way as one time I was watching this Nollywood movie, and they were talking about in the movie how it's taboo to talk about death and preparing for death, and she was trying to get her dad to prepare life insurance or a will or something, and he didn't want to do it because it's taboo to talk about death. And I was just like, is that why over here now there's wealthy Black people that will die with no will because they didn't want to think about death and dying while they were living because of whatever. There's things that we brought over here traditionally and I always say, everything in the world has a percentage of good and bad to it, including cultures. And usually the bad things in the culture are things that limit the individual's individuality to choose what they want to do within that cultural practice. If they want to participate in it, if they don't. It's the bad things within a culture tend to be like cultish, where if you don't choose to do this, you will be abused into it, or you will be abandoned. That's the bad things that lie in cultures sometimes. And so, no, y'all. So that's Essie. Let's go to Joyce, okay? Joyce was the first wife. Joyce was the one he actually married. She's the face. And yes, Joyce is, she wants to be the personification of a good wife. She wants to be the representation of a good wife. But the thing is that y'all forget is that they married when they were teenagers, before she had any experience as an adult. So if you do things when you're young before having experiences as an adult and learning how to be your own individual adult, what happens is you take that into your adulthood, that child brain, that child way of thinking into your adulthood. That's why it's not okay for these old ass niggas to be dating these young bitches in their 20s, these 40, late 30-year-olds, mid 30-year-olds, 50-year-olds dating 18, 19, 20-year-olds, because you sit up here acting like these 18, 19, 20-year-olds should have known better when they've never been an adult before. So if you've never been an adult before, how are you supposed to know about adult things and learn and know better? They're supposed to be making these mistakes with people their own age so that they all can learn together in their developmental group. But when a nigga that's surpassed that comes into their life, you're disrupting their developmental tract. The direction they were supposed to go in as an individual young adult to learn about themselves, you're disrupting that. So they're not able to learn about themselves. So basically their life is built around whatever rhetoric you teach them. And that is why it's wrong to date these young bitches and these young niggas, because they're the same too. And so, hi, editing Jasmine here. Girl, I had to get it out. I had to get it out today instead of Tuesday. I was like, nah, nigga, but no, also something to be mentioned is Joyce's mom Like, this stuff is a rhetoric that has been instilled in her since childhood, and you can tell because Joyce's mom, as soon as she had the baby and the man moved out for a year, Joyce's mom was like, well, you walking around with milk stains all over your clothes, and you need to be dressed like this and doing this and that for your nigga. And then I'm just like, girl, you see this nigga is raunchy. He's been gone for a year. What are you talking? And Joyce's mom didn't come around till he moved back then, and then he kept fucking with Mupita, and then he had them twins on her and shit, and then that's when Joyce's mom figured out, oh, this is irredeemable. But bitch, it's too late. If you've been teaching her since childhood, she need to cater to these niggas, and if these niggas don't want her, it's her fault. She need to do something about herself. Then of course, it's the job is already done, love. It's already done happened. You already done fucked your child up, and then she married when she was a child, a teenager, so she didn't know nothing about being an adult and an individual yet. And so that's just stuck with her whole life. And so the job is done. Now it's going to take pain. Consistent pain until she's tired of the pain for her to move. And that's your fault as a mother. If she didn't know nothing about being an adult and all she had been told was she had to be a good wife and mother, well, if that's rhetoric that's being repeated over and over again from childhood all the way up until when she got married, that's who she becomes. That's who she becomes. She becomes the face of the marriage. And so she's living clueless for a long time. She's living clueless. She has no idea. This nigga, in reality, the way this nigga's moving, he has a sex addiction. In reality, this nigga would have already given these bitches AIDS, HIV, I mean. He would have already given them HIV. I don't care what you're talking about. This nigga's moving nasty and raw, and he's not using protection. He would have already given them that. And so when she does find out, though, when Mupita comes into the picture and she finds out how dirty this nigga is, you see, this is what the Diary of a Mad Black Woman should have looked like. You see the downfall, the mental deterioration, the begging and pleading on her knees. When she got on her knees for her husband, this nigga was gone for it. So he basically repeated what he did with Essie, left her for a year to be with Mupita in the other house. And soon as he came back into her life, she tried to act like nothing was wrong, and she took him back. So she just as bad as Essie to a certain extent, but Essie just like the subservience. Essie is more subservient to it. She's going to be quiet. She's not going to cause a problem. She's going to have a sad face when you lie or you cheat, but she's not going to say anything. Joyce is going to say some shit. Joyce grew up with money. Joyce grew up with opportunity. Joyce grew up with schooling at the very least. So she grew up with somewhat of a backbone to be able to say, I don't like this shit. We need to fix this shit. But every time she confronts this nigga gaslights her and gaslights her and gaslights her until like she tried to she tried to get a divorce. Like, no, the nigga asked her for a divorce after living in the house with Mupita for a year. But she wanted to renew her vows because this was the year they promised each other to renew their vows, and we have to keep up our image because I'm the spokesperson for this, you know, this beauty skincare company and all this other stuff, and I have to keep up my image and all this other stuff. And so he agrees to it, and Lupita's there, but you know, this nigga's a liar and a cheater. You should have recognized that this nigga doesn't actually love you. You should have got in, got the money and got out, girl, but you fell in love with a fucking rat looking nigga. And I don't, girl, and this is a real person in real life. And the thing is that when you do evil, the flaws in your physicality are glaring to me. The brother isn't ugly to me. I wouldn't call the brother ugly. He's just an average looking man, right? Because he's not a bad person. So I'm gonna sit up here and call him ugly and fat. No, he's an average looking person. Like I felt like he was a big teddy bear, a big Santa Claus. I was just like, look at him trying to work through this brainwashing this nigga has put him through. But no, that nigga was evil and ugly. But the actor in real life, I'm sure he's probably a good person. And no, he's in that category with the rest of them niggas, like that nigga from the Diary of a Mad Black Woman that was blowing bubbles and He's in that category. Then that nigga from Why Did I Get Married that made Jill Scott walk up the damn mountain and shit. He's in those categories now. I don't care. Like you can't overcome this. You are the CEO of the ain't shit niggas in the movies now. Like you are the. I hope you don't get typecast, because I just can't imagine. Every time I see his face, I just want to punch him in the face, girl. Like, girl, the way he treated these women, that little girl, oh my God. And so Joyce is on her knees. She's begging him to stay. He leaves her. This nigga cheats on her with Mapita the same day that she gives birth. And because she's the good, happy wife, she's the kingmaker, all this other shit. And when he lies and tells her he has to go back to the meeting at the office and all this other shit, she believes him, because obviously, I need to be there for my man regardless of my vagina looking like a massacre after having these babies. He doesn't care about any of these children. They're objects to him. And oh girl, I'm just shocked and appalled, just recounting. Like, I have it playing in the background on television just so I can remember shit. And girl, I just be staring off into space thinking about the devastation of destroying these women's mental health. If you think you have to, like How to Be a Player, right? That movie, and like whatever, Boomerang and shit like that. The movies that show you how niggas be playing bitches, right? This is the How to Be a Pick Me. This is what happens to the bitches that get played like that, because that's emotional abuse, and emotional abuse is traumatizing. And so you sit up here and you wonder why black women seem angry or black women seem standoff, because we experience this shit on a daily basis from you niggas. Whether it be a lover, a brother, a cousin, a father, we experience it from you niggas. So yes, we are cautious, and none of you niggas want to work on yourself. None of you niggas want to take accountability, because if you did, I read this thing about the movie Obsession, right? And it was saying how, is it really the female gaze? Is it really feminism? Because it sounds like it's still from the male gaze. We see Bear's story and Bear's fear and Bear's fright, and we're still just kind of looking at the girl that's actually going through it. We're just observing her and her experience. We're not really in it with her. Imagine if that movie had been from inside her head. So see, niggas can't comprehend the intensity of the pain that they cause women, because what if that movie had been from inside her head? Yes, in the name of Jesus. What if that movie had been from inside that girl's head the whole time, screaming and fighting against these demons while she can't control her body, and this nigga fucking her and touching her, and she shitting on herself and all this other stuff. It's close but no cigar, and I felt it in my spirit. I did. And so this woman wrote this book to really show the deterioration of women. And no, was there any excelling at the end? No, but the story still evolves, because it's not meant to show excelling, because when women are in this situation, a lot of times they don't get out of it. And so what happens is it just gets transferred to the children, the next generation, and the next generation, and the next generation, just like it did. And that's what it's showing. This is how deep the trauma goes, and these niggas don't care. And that's why it's so deep. That's why it's so deep, this movie is. So Joyce is out here, she out here just trying to get her nigga back, and he goes to the wedding, and then he wants her to sign the divorce papers. But as soon as she's about to sign the divorce papers, just like a narcissist and who's codependent and who is enmeshed in the lives of his victims, you are his coping skill. You are more valuable to him than he is to you. He just tries to make you feel like he's more important. He's not, because if he was, then the bitches would just be coming to him. He wouldn't be going from house to house to house trying to find a bitch that he fiends for the bitches. We are the most important. We are the goddesses. We don't need to put up with that shit, right? And so before they even do anything with the papers, he done decided he want to be with her again, and then he fucks her, and then the next day she still got reservations, but he's like gaslighting her into believing this is fine. But throughout the course of him being back, everything seems fine. I always say it takes about 2 weeks of niggas love bombing you before they crash the hell out again, right? I don't know how long it was in this situation, but at some point he's about to go on a work trip, and she decides, because she had a flashback when she had a pregnancy scare, and she had a flashback to when she had her baby, and she needed help from that nigga, and that nigga was cussing her the hell out because she should be the one to take care of the baby. Like, he's not the father and the parent, and because he can't show up emotionally, physically, anything that has to do with making him feel uncomfortable, he cannot deal with, because he's a piece of shit. God. And so she goes to the doctor's office to get her tubes tied, because she said, absolutely not, I'm not having another child with this man. And then she finds out that Mupita just had twins, and this work trip he was supposed to go on, he actually was at the hospital with Mupita, who was having fucking twins, bitch. Oh God, the first time I watched this and she walked into the room, when the doctor said the other Gomorrah woman, I was just sitting up here like, what do you mean? What do you mean the other Gomorrah woman? What is he talking? And I was like, who is the other Gomorrah woman? Girl, so many times I was confused and shocked and appalled. She walked in that room and that woman had them 2 babies, and she passed the hell out, and I just said, girl. Then she went to Mupita as a woman, and she said, we can just take your babies and you can just go. Like, you have to be here. You're ruining our marriage. And Mupita was like, well, I can't help who I fell in love with. Bitch, yes, you can. You just have to sit through the pain of not having them in your life until it goes away. You have to be completely out of their life, completely away. And no, I'll get to that when I get to Mupita. And so she basically then decides, because Mupita doesn't want to leave, that Mupita can be the second wife. So they make Mupita the second wife, and I'm just like, so is she gonna move in the house? Like, how does this work? Mupita never moves in the house with them. She always in the other house, and I'm just like, the wives don't live together, they live separately. Girl, this nigga just cheating. He just cheated. Who knows how many bitches that he be fucking. I feel in my spirit he was fucking the secretary. All them eye rolls and shit. She trying to act like she's not a part of any of this. He fucked that secretary. I don't care what you're talking about. They didn't show it, but he fucked that secretary. And I feel in my spirits, this is an equal opportunity dick. He fucked the maid. I know he did. She was leaning over one day, picking some shit up, cleaning some shit, and he just came up behind her. He fucked that maid at least one time. I tell you what, I know he did, because he has a sex addiction. Yes, he did. You don't know what this nigga been doing. And so, they going back and forth, her and Mupita, over this nigga. Mupita keep coming to the house yelling and screaming about this nigga. And then one day they come to the house, and Mupita comes to the house after she married this nigga, talking about, where is he? He was supposed to be at the twins' doctor's appointment, and da-da-da-da. And Joyce is just like, I don't know, he ain't fucking here, bitch. He was supposed to be at his child's recital and shit, nigga. Like, I don't know where this nigga is. Of course he was that's when we see him eating chicken, and Essie sitting on the floor looking up at him like he is the second coming of Jesus. And I'm just like, Essie, girl, stand up. Jesus, God. Oh, I hated that. I hated seeing that. I was like, Annie, stand up, bitch. I was like, you have magic. If you really want this nigga to stay, you could have hexed this motherfucker and put a love spell on. Don't put love spells on niggas. See what happened in Obsession? Just let these niggas go. No, because the same thing happened in The Craft, and when she put that love spell on that nigga in The Craft, and that nigga started stalking her, and then he tried to rape her, and her friend had to come in and save her and be like, he's sorry. That's my favorite part of that movie. I don't give a fuck what you're talking about. And she knocked that nigga out the window. It was beautiful. I don't know what they did to that woman that played that part. He's sorry, but I wish she was still acting I do. I loved her as an actress, especially in that movie. But anyways, yeah, you don't put love spells on nobody. Just let these niggas. Annie should have let that nigga go the way I wouldn't have let that nigga in my house 7 years. I'm a human being, bitch. You don't want bitches. You don't want bitches to be acting like me. You don't want bitches to be woke like me, because you'd have a lot of doors shut in your face. And that's why they have to brainwash black women to believe that that's the type of caricature that we should aspire to, because they put some hoodoo costume on her, and One Me is a great actress, and that's the only reason that character was brought to life, because they gave her a two-dimensional character with no backstory except to service a nigga, and so she brought that character to fucking life because she's a good actress. And I just, oh god, killed her. That nigga, both them niggas killed her at the end of that movie, and I was just like, was this necessary? Was y'all hate us? Oh god, I hate that fucking movie to the depths of my soul. I do, because I refuse to say that it's okay to treat black women like we're the shit underneath your shoe. Everything else, the story, the plot, the color grading, the artistry went out the window for me when I saw that nigga was still alive and he walked off with that white woman, and I said, oh, we are the shit underneath your shoe. I see. Okay, there you. Yeah, she gets everlasting life with her nigga vampire, but like we get to die because our service has been rendered here. Okay. Oh. And that's Essie, and that's Joyce too, a little bit, and now we get into Mapita. Wait a minute, let me go back, because Joyce. So basically, because Joyce a bad bitch at the end, but I just feel like Joyce gets to the point where she's tired of this nigga after she finds out he's raping a child. I don't care what you're talking about. That girl's a child. Can't be consensual with a child who hasn't experienced adulthood and doesn't know all the ins and outs of fucking around with a 45-year-old. Right. And so, she decides that she's done with him, and he beats and rapes her. And so now she had one attempt where she tried to kill him, but because he's so, egotistical, he thought she was trying to kill herself with the gun. She does another attempt with some borax, and he lives, and then she pays the doctor off to say that he had a heart attack. And then this magical bitch, she was in jail. She went to jail twice over this nigga. Girl, the way I would not have went to jail twice over this nigga. She went to jail twice over this nigga. And then she decides that the woman that she met in jail the first time who had HIV, she was going to use that against this nigga because, he likes to fuck anything that moves. And basically that woman was taking her medication. When you take the HIV medication nowadays, your counts of the stuff in your blood is low, and you can even have sex and not spread it to people and all that stuff. So you have to understand what this woman did in order to infect him, because there's a very low chance of infection when you're taking your medication at this day and age, right? This woman probably had to go off her meds for however long to build the count up enough in her blood to give it to this nigga, because Joyce sent this bitch to this nigga's house where he was molesting this child, and basically had this bitch infect him with the HIV. And of course, because he'll fuck anything, he fucked her and he got the HIV, and the doctor said, oh, you just take these medications, being egotistical. And also, I don't know if it's a cultural thing too, like not trusting the medications given by the Western whatever the fuck. And I think it was mainly him being egotistical and thinking he was invincible. I think it was more that because the girl took her meds and she was fine. She was walking around lively, colorful, laughing, beautiful. He slowly deteriorated and died. The only thing that was fucked up about Joyce is she involved Minzy. Minzy was already going through shit. His brain was already fucked up from his dad. Don't involve your son. You could have talked that nigga into putting the son on the wheel like he was supposed to. Don't traumatize your son more by having him pretend to love on this nigga, cause that fucks you up. That's why he broke down at the funeral. That fucked Menzie up even more so, because he had to mask and pretend with his dad for however long, knowing his mom, because he had to have known orchestrated him getting the HIV. And I just, that was fucked up. That's like in Is God Is. Why are you having your daughters do this? Why you didn't even know your daughter's name or how to spell it properly. One of them, when they came to the house and saw their name on the door, you hadn't even spelled your daughter's name right. Okay, the one that had the most burns on her and shit. And you sat up here and told them that's all you wanted them for? Like, they would have loved you anyways. Kids be loving the most differentest looking people and shit. And you sat up here and you had your kids go kill this nigga. See, that's not right. That's not right. All them bitches doing your hair and click clacking and shit. You could have had one of them bitches do that, but instead you risked the lives of your children, and one of them actually died. Meaning you didn't give a fuck. You was like, well, I'm dying, and he burnt me down all over my body, and so you didn't care. You didn't care, and so she didn't care. She didn't care, but then had the audacity at the end to be like, Menzie's not going to turn out like him. You just fed into Menzie actually turning out like him though. And so that was fucked up. That was fucked up. The orchestrated plan of having that bitch go over there and give him HIV because you knew he wasn't going to take medication for it. Chef's kiss. I don't care. She's been traumatized. She's tired. She could have just divorced him and took half, but whatever. Different cultures have different things about looking a type of way in the public, and different feelings around divorce and whatever the fuck. But this level of torture, I would have just divorced his ass and took half. It's none of my business though, but then involving Menzie was fucked up. I don't give a fuck what you're talking about. Mapita. Oh God. She was the go-getter. She pursued this nigga. She was dating the brother. And she dated the brother only to get close to this nigga. And she pursued this nigga, and she pursued him to get the bag. I felt bad for the brother, but at the same time, I was just looking at Mapita like, why didn't you just stick to getting the bag? If that was the case, because there's a lot of bitches out here. No, fuck this shit. If the nigga is evil and fucked up and whatever the fuck, and you just want to get a bag, bitch. This bitch fell in love with this nigga. I'm just like, what hold? Like, I remember when I was watching the scene when he was getting up out of Lindani's bed and his whole body and with the pot belly and the stop talking about this man. This is a real person. He's probably very nice in real life. And no, because I think they did this on purpose to make him, they put an average nigga to play this part because they wanted to show how we will crawl and scrape and for the most and I've been there. That's why I can't date an ugly nigga. Like, I need to be attracted to you because I've had ugly niggas, and I've said you need to look beautiful to me, and you need to look beautiful to me. You need to give me at least 3 or 4 years of you looking like a fucking supermodel, because I deserve that. And then if you get in an accident or some shit happen or like you gain weight or whatever the fuck, I mean, gaining weight isn't gonna make you ugly though. So like, if you get in an accident, get your face burned off or some shit, I'll still love you. You gave me 3 or 4 years of a good face, good body. I'll still love you because now I love you though. So like, I don't care how you look, shit, the fuck. But no, we're gonna start off with I'm gonna be attracted to you because I have done charity work already, and I refuse to do charity work ever again. That nigga was not pretty enough for these bitches to be acting like this. And I'm just like, is money that important? Is money that important? Because I just feel like he came to Joyce's dad. He was working in Joyce's dad's company. So Joyce was the one that actually had the money. And so, you know what? It's not my business. It's the name of Jesus. So Mufita is sitting up here. First, she's a get a bag hoe, and I'm just like, fine, be a go getter, get a bag hoe. If he's gonna take the bait, then fuck it. It's none of my business. But no, she basically like falls in love with this nigga, and then gets mad because this nigga, lived with her for a year. Because Joyce got mad one day and brought all the kids to the house and said, you need to watch your kids because your kids haven't seen you in months and da-da-da-da. And so she finessed that into getting her own house. And then Joyce came to the house and saw that they was about to take a trip. And so she burnt that house down to the ground, bitch. a la Left Eye. It was magical, but they were in it. And I was just like, that's how Joyce ended up in jail the first time. But he was mad because you know, some cultures about embarrassment and reputation and shit. He was mad at Mupita for calling the police on her. At first I was like, well, how did she know it was her? How did she know it wasn't like an electrical fire or some shit like that? And then I was like, maybe they have cameras. And I wanted her to get away with that shit. I wanted them both to burn down to the ground. I don't care. And so, you know, she out here like falling in love with this nigga, right? And she living in the house for a year. And then until they have the wedding renewal vows. And then they have the wedding renewal vows, and this nigga wants to be with his wife. He wants to love on his wife. I'm watching this scene now. I forgot when I was talking about Joyce, when Lindani bought this nigga to the party and he was sick with his HIV, and then he was sitting in the house in the wheelchair with Joyce, and Joyce didn't give a fuck that he was sick at the bottom of the stairs. And he was talking about Lindani will come. Somebody will come for me. And I was just thinking, Christina's gone. Girl, that's what that made me think of. I was like, oh, Christina's gone to him. You know, she was like, Lindani's not coming back. I don't know what you. Mapita's not coming back. Essie ain't allowed in my house. No, actually, and then she called her. She called Lindani, and Lindani wouldn't pick up the phone. Lindani's gone. Lindani. Oh God. Oh my God. This is good writing, good production, good, you know, the melting of the wigs, but I think, man, I don't know what that is. That's none of my business. It was good writing, good production. And so good acting. You know, sometimes I would switch back between the English and the Zulu just to hear where their actual acting voice is. And I was like, his name is Jonasi, and I was just like, you know, that would be a pretty name if it wasn't attached to this evil nigga. So I can't name my future children Jonasi because it's we're not putting that evil, because there's power in words. We're not putting that evil on a little child that doesn't deserve that. So anyways, Mupita, you know, comes to the vow renewal looking crazy. Nobody will talk to her, and she just trying to like figure out why you not trying to come back home. You ain't been home and such and such. And basically this nigga moves back in with his first wife, and then he's like, you know, I don't know what to tell you. And so Mupita actually leaves him. She actually leaves this nigga, no. She leaves after Joyce says that he needs to fire her from her job. So he fires her, and then she decides to get with some prime minister or some nigga. And while he's out with Joyce, he sees Mupita out with the prime minister, and like any narcissist who will not let go of his toys, he is upset. He is appalled that she even has the audacity to be with someone else. And she's just like, well, you ain't been around. Like, what's the problem? And the audacity of him to be mad, but like that's the mental health issue. There's a blockage there that makes these motherfuckers not see people as people and only see people as objects. And the thing is, you could choose to do better just off the sake of it's the right thing to do. You know, you can choose. Where's that book? There's this, I'll just put a thing. There's this book that I always bring out when I'm talking about sociopaths and stuff like that. And it's called Sociopath. And basically this book is about somebody choosing better and going against their natural instincts to not give a fuck about motherfuckers and to cause havoc, and to learn how to find the emotions and the empathy inside of them to do better and be better and stuff like that. So that's the mental health issue, is there's a disconnect from your emotions to a certain extent, and you can learn, just for the sake of it being the right thing to do, to override that every single time. You have to be active at it, where most people, their emotions will come up and help guide them through that, so that you don't have to be as active as in overriding that. them niggas that don't have empathy for other people cannot see you as anything beyond an object. So, this nigga cannot see Mupita as more than his little sex toy. He cannot take accountability for his behaviors, because it's like, if I break my phone, it's just a phone. I can buy a new one and shit, nigga. Well, you just a bitch. I can do whatever the fuck I want with you, nigga. And I just... At some point, he even beats and rapes Mupita, and then beats and rapes Joyce on the same fucking day. And I was just, girl, like, it's so like, Mupita, that's the night that the twins are conceived. Is the night he seen her with that other nigga. Girl. Oh my God, this shit is fucking me up. I'm so upset. The rage. Because the chaos, he is like an ecosystem. He has created an ecosystem of chaos and bullshit, and it's not okay. He is like, no, not the sun. The sun is a good thing. There is this episode of Futurama where, like, the professor makes this telescope that you can smell things in outer space. And one day he smells some really rank foul shit. And come to find out, it's this giant trash planet of litter that the world has been pushing out into outer space. And now it's gotten so big that it's about to collide with Earth, right? He's that trash planet. And he's so big that now all these other planets are orbiting around his trashiness and becoming deteriorating because they're orbiting around a trash planet. And then the children, the moons of those planets orbiting around his planets are deteriorating because it's trash. All this chaos when we could have just seen that he was a Ninja Turtle shredder motherfucker in the beginning and let it go. In the name of Jesus. Oh God, I wish that nigga would. And all he does is just come up to you with these low eyes, and then he tries to make his voice deep. He doesn't have a deep voice. He doesn't have the deep raspy voice that I like. And he's like, you're gonna do what I tell you to do. And I was like, what are you talking about? I wish a nigga would. What are you if you don't get the fuck girl, the way I do not put up with these niggas that I can read real quick and just be like, ew. He looked like his breath stink. When he got off that bed after fucking around with Lindani, and he walked into that bathroom with his shirt off, and I was just like, this is what we want. Okay. So after Mupita has the baby, she really sees this nigga ain't trying to show up. This nigga ain't trying to care for her and her babies and all this other shit. And so, like, she still sticks around. She still agrees to be the second wife. This nigga lies and says that the house that his first wife lives in is okay to have the venue for the twins christening, and then her and Joyce is going at it because he lied and all this other shit. And then, like, then everybody get gonorrhea. Then everybody gets gonorrhea, right? And girl, I'm going in. I'm tired, because if we had seen this in the beginning, girl, the way by the end of Sinners, I had just wanted Annie to have never opened that door. It could even be a commentary. It could have been like this, a commentary on how bitches be, caping for niggas and shit, but then you killed them at the end, and then you walked off with a white bitch. And so no, it wasn't. It didn't. It just ended up like being some shit where niggas are bowing and scraping for niggas, and the niggas win in the end, and they get their white bitch that they wanted from the beginning anyways. And I just, oh God, no, this fleshes it out. It fleshes out the trauma, the flashbacks, the questioning yourself, the losing and abandoning yourself, and shows what it looks like. You get blow by motherfucking blow. And so anyways, she gets gonorrhea. She find out he fucking raping a child. And like, she's done. She's gonna take her money out the bank and leave with her twins and get the hell up out of there. But she tries to take his money after Joyce gives him borax to make him die. And of course he finds out, and he comes and he beats and he rapes her. And then Matipa decides to abandon the twins. Yes, she does. She says, "Fuck them kids." And a part of me kind of understood. She was in survival mode. She felt like Joyce has a good house, a good family. I'm gonna give the babies to Joyce, and she gave the babies to Joyce, and she disappeared. We don't see her again till the end at the funeral with some new nigga. And the kids, the twins, it's been years, it seems, they don't know who the fuck she is. So he was walking around and stumbling around with HIV for a minute. All of this was happening for a minute after Mapita left. That's why they use the babies to show the passage of time. They don't say how long it's been, except for that one time with Essie where they said it was 8 years later. Nigga, the way I wouldn't open the door, all you have to do is stand firm no matter what they do. And you need to learn how to fight. You need to be like Jennifer Lopez and enough. That movie and The Cell are the only two movies that I like Jennifer Lopez in. Everything else that she does, the air she breathes, I couldn't even be a part of. But you need to be like Jennifer Lopez and enough. You need to learn how to fight. You learn how to fight. You're not scared of these niggas. You can get you a gun. Some type of weapon to protect yourself from. The stronger you get in your body, the more safer you feel in yourself, and the less scared you are of these niggas, because that nigga was walking around pot belly, and girl, the way I would have beat his motherfucking ass, and we would be fighting. It would be a tussle, because you got me fucked up. So anyways, in the name of Jesus. See, I'm just all over the place. Lindani is Mpume. I keep trying to say her name right, because it's like if you say it with their accent, it's kind of like the M is silent, but it's not. They just say it really fast. So with my accent, you can hear the M. It's just Mpume. But she's Mpume's friend, right? Okay. So she's just a kid. They're in high school. She's trying to live her life, and her mom is stifling her for whatever reason, or whatever shit her mom's going through that's made her jealous of her child. Lindani wanted to go to college. Her mom wouldn't sign the applications for university so she could go to college. So she's a minor, I'm assuming, if you need your mom to sign the application for you to go to college. So she's not an adult. So basically she's trapped. I see people online talking about Lindani the witch, and she's and I'm like, she's a little girl that was trapped in a situation. Why is it bad for a 16, 17, 18-year-old to want to excel in life and get up out the hood? She wasn't trying to excel in life and get up out the hood by any means necessary in the beginning. She was trying to go to college. She wanted she hangs out with rich people in their mansions every day. Why wouldn't she have dreams of grandeur for herself? And she wanted to go the right route and go to college and grow. Her mom wouldn't sign a university application. So she was primed and vulnerable because she was trapped by a bitch that didn't like her and was jealous of her. And this nigga comes along and sees this little girl that's trapped at the party that his children has at the house, and then they show him grooming her. So yeah, it seems like a shorter amount of time, because scene after scene it seems short, but no, he groomed her first when she's getting, and she has some kind of drinking problem or some shit like that because she lives with a jealous bitch, and that's traumatized her. So he grooms her with alcohol and finery, and then finally he sexually abuses her when he takes her away from the place that she knows, shows her finer things, and then abuses her. She's a child. I don't care what you're talking about. I don't care if they made that sex scene look as glamorous as possible. I don't care if they made it look like she wanted it. Of course she's going to look like she wanted it because she don't know anything about adulthood. So any good feeling that you put in a child with no explanation of what this good feeling will feel like or do, or how it will deteriorate their soul later on, like they're going to latch on to the good feeling. And that's why a symptom of sexual abuse is promiscuity. It is. Because the child who never processed what happened to them, they're only sticking to the surface level stuff. And the orgasm becomes the coping skill. It does. So it makes sense that Lindani was out here fucking randoms and shit like that when she got tired of this nigga. It also makes sense why she started punishing this nigga and not taking care of him when he was sick, because he abused her. She doesn't know how to process that, so she's processing it through anger and disgust at him, because that's the abused child in her that is upset and lashing out at him. Like, yeah, leave this nigga on the floor and let him shit on himself. Fuck that. The fact she even put him in the shower, girl, the way I would have let him lay there on the floor and die. You molest me, you get to lay there on the floor and die, honey. I don't understand what the problem is. The fucked up part is how I don't even, cause like the anger and animosity that she had towards Mpume, they both had animosity towards each other. Mpume wasn't gonna, but I think she developed the animosity towards the whole family after Joyce found them together in the bathroom. And instead of Joyce seeing that she's a child that's being taken advantage of, she blames her. Then she beats her. And this is what it looks like when a child is not protected. They lash out. They act out. They turn into something that they weren't meant to turn into. That's why they led you up to it, to show you why Lindani turned into such an angry, promiscuous person. And y'all sitting up here like, Lindani the witch. Lindani did this and she did that and fuck her. Like, this nigga didn't groom her and molest her and affect the mental health that was already precarious because her mama didn't love her properly and didn't show up for her properly. Like, she even said in the scene where the mom didn't sign the application, she was just like, my mom don't want me to do anything. She just wants me to be a server girl in this shop, this restaurant for the rest of my life. And like, I have dreams and goals and shit like that. And yeah, it was fucked up what she did to her boyfriend and shit like that. But I think her boyfriend eventually went to college. He just was like, like, I'm cool wherever. I have dreams for myself too, but like, I'm not pedestalizing the shit. But I'm wondering if her boyfriend came from a wholesome, loving family. And that's why that repetitiveness of being loved on and cared for created this person that didn't pedestalize success and pedestalize money and power and all this other stuff. He was just chilling. Yeah, he wanted to go to college. Yeah, he wanted to do some shit with his life, but he wasn't going to by any means necessary, because there was no situation at home to make him feel like it had to be by any means necessary, nigga. Girl. So yeah, she ended up mad at the whole family because Joyce, who was supposed to be like a second mother to her, turned on her and forgot that this nigga is the monster, not this little girl. This nigga is the monster. Lindani gets pregnant. This nigga disappears for however long. And she has a miscarriage. After she has a miscarriage. And so now everybody's like, and I think she had a miscarriage because everybody got gonorrhea. And so you got gonorrhea, like that's affecting your ability to carry a child to term. It is. And so I just can't be upset at Lindani like y'all are upset at Lindani. She was a child, and that's why I'm saying until you deal with the reason you may be upset at Lindani is because you're not dealing with the shit that happened to you when you were a child and you didn't know nothing about being an adult, and somebody took advantage of your vulnerabilities and your naivete around adulthood and what it meant and stuff like that. And, you haven't forgiven yourself and validated yourself and your pain that you were made to feel, and you're projecting that onto a child. And until we, see little black girls as children that deserve, little black girls and little black boys too, as children that deserve to be loved on and seen as children, then that's going to be your demise and your downfall. That has nothing to do with me. This is a child. This is a child. This is that's why I liked it, because they showed exactly how someone can turn. Like, Lindani is a future Mapita. So what happened to Mapita to make her just go after this rich nigga, right? They showed you in Lindani. They showed feeling trapped, feeling like you can't get out, and being in a society that says the only way out is to find a rich nigga and all this other stuff. And I just, girl, no, I'm not gonna cape for denigrating black girls, black women, denigrating black girls, black women. I'm not gonna cape for that. That's some bullshit, and y'all bullshit, and I don't care what you're talking about. So then he gets HIV. And basically, she don't want to take care of this nigga. This is an old ass man with HIV, and she got to wipe his ass. She don't love him like that. Girl, you got me fucked up. She said, no, I'm okay. And she left that nigga on the floor shitting on himself. And then when it got too bad, she took his ass back to Joyce. And Joyce said, Christina's gone. Lindani's gone, honey. She's not picking up the phone. And then she went back out there and stayed at that house still and was fucking niggas and promiscuous and doing all this random shit and all this other stuff. And then she fucked Menzie at the funeral because they both been traumatized by his dad. They both have issues with promiscuity now. And, That's what this nigga is generational. This nigga is creating and you watch it and you supposed to learn from it, and you supposed to start seeing, especially black men, you're supposed to watch this and start seeing the impact you have on black women. And you're supposed to say, I don't want to hurt. I don't want to see you as an object that's just here for my use. I don't want to see you as the pussy and fried chicken lady. I want to see you as a person that has feelings and emotions and is impacted by the things that I do to you. And I want to have empathy for that impact and work on changing myself so I can be a better person. But instead they say, no, I don't care about this. And then they go find him a 19-year-old who doesn't know shit about nothing. So this is easier because then, and the way this nigga was moving, it was just like every scene he was in where he just looked miserable. I was just like, you're just upset because your objects aren't being okay with the fact that you're a piece of shit, and you're just wondering why your objects are broken. Why are these bitches not just acting like, everything's fine? Like, he's mad at Mapita because Mapita keep asking, she want more, she keep asking. He's expecting these bitches to be like Essie and not ask for more and just smile and not say nothing to go along with the lies and shit like that. Low-key probably groomed Essie to a certain extent to where she became like that. These niggas groom everybody. He groomed his brother to be okay with this behavior. He's grooming people that he works with. He's groomed his secretary to not say shit. That's why when I was talking about Michael Jackson in the last video and how in the 1993 case, it was found that he was going to that child's house. It went to that child's house 30 times to have sleepovers and, in the child's bed, and how the mom was okay with it because he groomed the mom into being okay with it, because he puts that shit on like them Japanese people be putting on that super kawaii act and talking that baby talk, because that's a put on. They don't actually talk like that. That's a cultural thing that they do, either because it's cultural or to get some money. He was putting that shit on like he was a little weak bitch, and so everybody else would be, that was him grooming the world with that little weak bitch persona. And niggas is falling for it, and I'm tired because when you fall for that bit, you gonna fall for a nigga like a rat face motherfucking nigga like this in your life. And niggas know they don't have to be pretty. They know they don't have to be pretty to be like this. It's just extra if they're pretty. It's just, at least, At least he's pretty. Like, no, bitch, he's calling you names. He's cheating on you. He's giving you diseases. He's leaving for a year and then you just taking him back. He's leaving for 8 years and you just taking him back. Like, you've been sitting here this whole time waiting for this nigga for 8 years, waiting for this nigga for 8 fucking years, just like it is God is. That nigga's been gone for 20 years and you sitting up here waiting for him to come back still. And girl, why are we sitting up here waiting for niggas? Why are we sitting up here waiting on niggas that have shown us that they don't give a fucking shit about us? Not a fucking shit. Oh, God. Ugh. Disgusting. Disgusting. And so, let's talk about the children, the babies, So first we're going to talk about Essie's children. I felt Sarah in my spirit. The crash out. I felt Sarah in my spirit. Motherfuckers are like online talking about, well, Sarah should have known better. How is she supposed to know better if she's literally been the other woman, been treated like the other woman since conception? This is the only life she knows, is to be the other woman. And she's not like her mom. She's not going to sit quietly forever. Like her mom, she would have sat quietly till the day she died. I'm just watching this scene. Essie sitting up here watching this nigga's body. Oh, God. Confirmation, bitch. She just came on. And I'm just like, she would have sat up here till the day she fucking died. And she would have, she would have let that nigga just run roughshod over her life till the day she died. That's not Sarah. Sarah said, I want a dad. I want to be loved. Why don't you love me? Pressing. Girl, that was me. I wasn't I got to a point where I just didn't give a shit about that nigga anymore. I didn't want to see him ever again. I wasn't going to force him to be a dad. But no, like, I was the other woman's child. I have siblings out there somewhere. I don't know them. And apparently later on I found out that my dad's been a hoe, got tons of children all around Southern California. Pray to God never end up having any type of relations with a sibling on accident in the name of Jesus. But no, like, that was my childhood, sitting at the window waiting for this nigga to come. And so it made sense that I would be okay with being abandoned and abandoning myself just for the slightest crumb from a nigga, because that was my whole childhood. That was my whole childhood and teenage years. I just thought that was normal to be mistreated and just get crumbs. And at least they're here. My dad wasn't here. So even though they're mean to me and fucked up to me, at least they're here. That's the bare minimum. That's all I need. I don't need that. You don't need to respect me. Nigga. The nigga's up there talking about Sarah should have known better. Where was she supposed to learn to know better from? You have to literally teach children emotion words. You have to teach them emotion words, because if you don't teach them emotion words, they're only going to know the base emotions: happy, sad, anxious, fearful. Just like the base colors in the rainbow, that if you mix them together they make other colors. Those emotions make other emotions. And so the excitement that I feel for Hawaii is not going to be the same level of happiness I feel to have a slice of pizza, right? But they're still under the same category of happy. So you need to learn what excitement is in order to know that you're excited. Or you're just going to feel all these excited emotions and you're not going to know what the word is for it. And so it can just be funneled into, you feel really good. Or if you feel sad, that sadness is going to feel uncomfortable. So anytime you get uncomfortable, it's just going to be funneled into anger, because I'm angry that I have to feel uncomfortable right now. So if you don't teach your children emotion words, they're not going to learn emotion words, and they're not going to learn what their emotions are. And so they're going to grow up not knowing what makes them feel good or what makes them feel bad, or setting boundaries against things that make them feel bad. Instead, they're going to learn that they just have to endure. Oh God, they just have to endure the bad feelings, or they are going to have to lash out and hurt motherfuckers to help calm the bad feelings down. Like, the motherfucker that made me feel bad, I'm going to hurt them. Like, no. So women are taught to endure mostly, and men are taught to be angry at feeling uncomfortable. And I just, girl, the way we just be teaching women that we teach boys to think about themselves first, and we teach women to think about men first. There's no room for women, especially black women, to consider themselves. There's no room for us to consider ourselves in any of it. Because once we learn how to consider ourselves, we're going to expect these niggas to consider us too. And girl, so Sarah just wants her dad. And she wants to have a coming out party. And I guess the real father has to be there. Maybe it's a superstitious thing. If the real dad isn't there, then I don't know what it is about this coming out party. But this nigga is pissed off about it. And he's like, you're not having a coming out party. You're not la 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 la. And I was like, oh, I hate him. I hate him to the depths of my motherfucking soul. And he's just looking at these women like, why are y'all mad? Because he expects them all of them to act like Essie. He expects them all to be subservient and act like Essie. And he's just so confused why they don't listen to him, because obviously he's all powerful and almighty and nothing can harm him, and they should be able to see it and just allow him to do fuck shit whenever he feels uncomfortable. And so we just see Sarah deteriorate throughout the show. And she's jealous of Mpume, his out loud child that he claims in person, in public. And so one day she decides that she's gonna give Mpume's boyfriend a blowjob at the twins' christening and shit like that. No, first she steals her phone. And then she gives her boyfriend a blowjob, and this was when Mpume was about to lose her virginity to him and all this other stuff. And so Mpume it just cuts her the fuck off. She's just like, why would you do this to my brother? And da-da-da. So Essie takes her home and starts cussing her out, and she just pushes Essie down the stairs on accident. I mean, it was on accident. It was like she loved her mom, like whatever, nigga, like. And so at the hospital, while Essie's at the hospital, Joyce comes, and that's when Sarah tells Joyce that that's her daddy, that's been her daddy, that's always her daddy. And the way after she found, like, she realized everybody knows now, the way she deluded herself, I was like, that poor baby, look at her, she's going into some kind of delusional state. She think that because everybody knows now, this nigga's gonna just miraculously, just like all these bitches doing random shit, thinking this nigga's just gonna miraculously love them randomly. Like, the pattern of his behavior is gonna randomly change because you gave him vagina in this different type of way than you ever gave him vagina before. So obviously he doesn't gonna want any other vagina but yours. No, bitch. Like, Sarah thought that, because everyone knows now, obviously all this behavior that I've seen from him of being a piece of shit asshole this whole time is just going to miraculously change. And no, nigga. I felt so bad for her, because that's a child's way of thinking, and that's the child's way of thinking that all of these women have retained. Joyce has retained the child's way of thinking of, I just need to be the face of this marriage and be the king builder, and that's what I've been told. Because it's a fixated way of thinking, of being, that does not make room for all the facets of your individuality that you're supposed to learn about as you go into adulthood and experience yourself even more so as an individual. That was derailed because this nigga. And so she stayed that way. Matipa and Lindani, whatever happened to Matipa made her think that she had to be cutthroat go-getter for the rest of her fucking life, and niggas are just here to fuck and get money from, until you fall in love with one that looks like a Ninja Turtle Uncle Shredder. Essie just thought that this is how niggas are, so I just can take what I can get. Essie wasn't me. Like, I just take what I can get, whatever you're willing to give me. It hurts my feelings, and I'm deteriorating inside, and I'm stressed out, I'm tired, and I'm sad, and I cry myself to sleep at night. But obviously that's what I have to endure to be with a man, because like that's what all the women around me are enduring to be with these niggas. So Look, even Joyce, that's why she was so excited when Joyce found out that this nigga was with Matipa, and Joyce had to have the christening with the twins at the house, and she wanted to be there and see all the mess. And you talking like this in front of your kids who are already traumatized and don't want to hear about this nigga like that, and you don't give a fuck. You don't clock that they're traumatized. You just care about this nigga, and you just like happy that Joyce is going through it, just like you had to go through it, because you knew all along that everyone has to go through it just to be with a nigga. You don't. You just have to love yourself, and the right nigga that's healed himself will come and see that you were healed to a certain extent, and y'all can be together and shit, because this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Like, and they have money. This is why I be like, money ain't the end all be all, nigga. Like, you just need enough money to be comfortable. You just need enough money to be able to have food, shelter, ability to travel. If you want to have kids, money enough for kids, that's like a good maybe 150, 160,000 a year. To be able to pay a mortgage, to be able to, take care of children and things like that. And, and any other money that comes after that baseline. And of course that goes up as we deal with inflation and these white supremacists and these capitalists. But like, it's going to be a long time before it reaches a point where you need to have $1 billion in the bank to do stuff. Just normal stuff, and y'all moving like you need to have $1 billion in the bank to go to the grocery store. And if you can just be content with a baseline amount, and then any money you make on top of that is just extra, not extra that you're feeding for or that you're overlooking other priorities in your life for, but just extra. And it's nice to have extra. Sometimes that extra is going to make you a millionaire. Sometimes that extra might take you from 150,000 a year to 200,000-300,000 a year. But that's extra. Nigga, I'm tired, girl. Shit. Oh God, this should make you want to drink. So how is Essie supposed to know better when she's never experienced better, love? Like, how is she supposed to know better when she's never had better? She has no example of what better looks like. And if you have no example of what better looks like, how are you supposed to know that that's possible? You might see it in movies and stories and stuff, but it just looks like fairy tales to you and shit. Of course, she's mad at Mpume because Mpume has what she wants. And so obviously there must be something wrong with Sarah and not their actual dad. So I'm going to be mad at Mpume because, you have something in you that makes him love you and make you public and and it's like they're all infighting with each other, and I just want them all to join up together against forgive each other. Unless somebody was molesting children, raping motherfuckers, or serial killing niggas, y'all need to forgive each other and create a motherfucking community and rebuild. But they're all traumatized, they're all infighting, they all hate each other. Like Joyce, why aren't you letting Essie come see him in his last days? Who fucking cares? Who fucking cares? This nigga created this situation with Essie. He played on Essie just like he played on you, just like he played on Lupita. I understand you not trusting her as a personal close friend because you haven't seen her do any work on healing herself. But I'm not going to sit up here and be mad at you. If you want to see this nigga, come see this nigga. I don't care about girl. The way I would have let that nigga die on the streets in his own shit. You couldn't bring that nigga back to my house. You couldn't. I would have put that motherfucker. Okay, you know what? I would have put that motherfucker in a facility and never visited. There you go. Put that motherfucker in a facility and never visited. And so, like, Sarah she's just in this delusional state, and then she goes to her dad's office and leaves a picture of them from his birthday on his desk. This nigga is pretending he's trying to get her out the office, and then he throws the picture away and puts the picture back of him and his, public children back on the desk. He don't care about this child. He don't care about any of his children, but this child, he definitely don't care about this child. And then he tells Sarah to go and make an appointment with his secretary for lunch, and he'll meet her at lunch. And of course she does that. And my thing is, like, you're a businessman and you check your calendar all the time because you own a business. You're a CEO, love. So don't sit up here and act like you didn't see that you had lunch with your daughter. And the way she sat there and waited for him with the one tear going down her face. And I just was like, girl, I remember that. I remember that. I'm glad I got over that nigga, like wanting to change that nigga and think that he was going to actually be a dad. By the time I was 15, I was just like, I'm not going to keep. That's what I noticed about myself. Like, I will fight for you and fight for you and fight for you for years. And then something inside of me just cuts off. I don't feel like it anymore. And then I just have to heal the shit that you did, that I endured while I was fighting for you. Now, I don't even give you a chance to be in my life long enough as soon as I see a certain red flags or anything like that, because I was giving motherfuckers years of my time, which deteriorated my mental health and shit. Like, I can't give you years if you're treating me fucked up. And that's what healing does. That cut off and acting like you don't exist shit, that just happens sooner now. Like, I love Jesus. I do. He helped me heal from the torture of motherfuckers that got shit going on and don't want to do shit about it. Yes. And so I was over that nigga by the age of 15, and I just felt like I didn't like talking to him. I didn't like even the times that he did come visit after that. I think the last time I saw the nigga I was 18. Like, I felt that. I felt bad for Sarah. I did. And so I feel bad for these children. And she figures it out. She separates herself from him, but I think she low-key wanted her uncle to be her dad, but her uncle is trying to just get away from all of it. Her dad, because Joyce kicks him out the house at one point before he had the HIV real bad. And the uncle helps Joyce kick him out the house because the uncle done too. And so, like, this nigga gonna fire the uncle and be like, yeah, you chose what you chose, nigga. And so, like, he fires the uncle, and then the uncle feels free now because the nigga let him go on his own. And so he goes and finds him a lady to be with, all of the shits. And, like, when he tells Essie that he done found him a lady, Essie's just like, oh, good for you. Essie never liked him like that, honey. She has been up this rat fink's ass this whole time. Like, she never liked him like that, but she's a child, as you see, so she doesn't understand why her mom doesn't like. She doesn't understand mental health, emotions, how things affect you, and how deep. She was never taught that. And so when you're never taught that, you don't really know what's going on, so you're just looking at things surface level as a child, and then as a young adult, until you learn those things for yourself. And so, like, she tries to, like, kiss her uncle at some point on the mouth. And I'm like, this is her blood uncle. And I know, like, some cultures, like, I have some Indian clients, and they be telling me how, like, culturally they can marry their first cousins. And, people do different things in different cultures and stuff. And it seems to be working out for them. And, so I'm sitting here wondering, it's none of my business is what I'm saying. That's none of my business, but I'm just using it as example that some cultures be marrying within the family and stuff. So I'm just sitting here like, do the South Africans be marrying the uncles to the nieces? Like, what is it? Is this why does she think she could? I'm just going to put it purely on trauma. And her thinking that she was losing her uncle because he couldn't be with her mom. And so she was trying to keep him in her life, and maybe she just thought sex would do it. Because that's a child's way of thinking. Very black and white, very to the point. These are the experiences I've had. This is the behaviors that seem to work, and these are the behaviors that don't seem to work. So let's see if this behavior will get me the result that I want, because it worked for my dad with these bitches. So maybe these niggas just want sex from me, so then that way if I give them sex, they'll stay and be my uncle, dad, or whatever the fuck. I feel like that's what it was. I don't think it was like a cultural thing where motherfuckers was like marrying their family members and shit. I think it was that. Cause you gotta cover all the bases. Cause I don't know. I don't want to say this ain't my culture, so I don't want to just say some shit and be like completely totally wrong. You let me know. You let me know. I don't know, but I think it was mainly the other one. She wanted to keep her uncle around, and she thought that sex was gonna keep him around because that's what keeps her dad addicted to these women. Your uncle's not your dad, and he would have stayed around just to be your uncle and visited you and hung out with you, and he would have loved on you like a father still. He's not going to leave you just because he's in a relationship with someone else. She don't know that though. She don't know that. And so I just feel bad for Sarah. I feel bad for her. And then you got her brother Freedom. Freedom's an alcoholic. Freedom's not is not Jonas's son. Freedom is the first son that Essie had with the hood nigga, right? And so he's just alcoholic, angry, feels like the wayward stepchild. Every time Jonas comes over and shit and don't really treat him right, he went off on his mama and all this other shit. And yeah, like that's what all these babies are affected. Like, what's gonna happen to Freedom? What's gonna happen to him? Oh God, all because this one nigga. It's like getting infected with a virus, and it's just one germ of that virus, and now you got all the diseases in your body and shit. And that's why this is a cautionary tale. This is why you can't accept crumbs from these niggas. You can't accept crumbs from these niggas that are trying to represent us in the media. You can't accept crumbs from these niggas that you see in your everyday life. You cannot accept crumbs from these niggas, because the crumbs will snowball into some bullshit the more they think that they can get away with shit. That's what it is. That's what it is. But you're not realizing that it's going to snowball. You just think that, oh, okay, like, he's not consistent with texting me back, but you know, he's really busy. We just make excuses for the behaviors. And the thing is like, as soon as you find yourself, this is something I do. As soon as I find myself making an excuse for a behavior that is upsetting to me, I stop and I take a moment and I really process it before responding to it. I process it, and then I ask myself, is this something that I should be dealing with? Is this something I should be dealing with on a regular basis? Is this something that I should be dealing with? You know, would I treat myself this way? Regardless of the excuse, regardless of the reason why they did it, especially if they've done it multiple times, would I treat myself this way? If I wouldn't treat myself this way, why am I accepting this nigga? See, that's why you got to spend time alone learning how to treat yourself. Because when you learn how to treat yourself, you learn what you'll accept, what you won't accept. You go to therapy, you figure it out, you heal from the trauma. Girl, the strength that just lives in me because I worked on this shit, and it's magnificent. It's just, girl, I feel powerful. Like, I just walk around with this self-confidence in myself that I'm even noticing that other people notice. Like, I speak very confidently, and I have to be cautious of that, because when I really believe in something, even if it's wrong, I will still speak on it like it's the truth. And so I have to tweak the I've still got some work to do on that, but most of the time, you know, I speak very confidently and stuff in my words, and I've noticed that when I'm speaking to people, they get kind of like, they start stuttering. They start getting these body languages that says they're starting to get self-conscious in what they're trying to say to me. And at first I was like, what the fuck is wrong with, why your voice go 10 octaves down and shit? Like, put some bass in it. I can't hear what you, why are you talking like that? And they don't sound confident in the words that they're trying to say, and their shoulders start to shrink in, and I'm just like, and then I really thought about it, because it's happened a lot of times, and I was like, I speak very confidently, and I'm confident in the things that I say, and it makes motherfuckers feel self-conscious if they're not confident in the things that they say, because motherfuckers move through, oh, it's 5 years earlier. Okay, I just restarted the show. So they did show how long this took. This took 5 years. Okay, this is a half a decade of bullshit, y'all. Oh my gosh. Let me shut up. So I speak very confidently. And so it can make motherfuckers feel self-conscious. And I'm not going to dumb that down. I'm going to speak the same way I'm going to speak, but I'm going to be cautious of making sure that I don't sound arrogant. That I don't have a tone of, like, I can speak confidently, but I try to be cautious, especially when people start to shrink at how I'm speaking. I just try to make sure that I don't speak arrogantly, because if you speak arrogantly, that's a part of what makes people feel, insecure, and like you a know-it-all. It's like you're trying to control people and make them see you in a type of way, instead of just living in your confidence and letting that be that. Like, I don't need to be arrogant about and try to make you think. Arrogant behavior is literally the action of trying to make people think that you're great. I don't want to do shit to make you think that I'm great. I just know that I'm great. I'm going to live my life as if I know that I'm great. And if you agree, that's great. If you don't, I don't. Because I don't need a motherfucker to pedestalize me. I don't pedestalize myself. Everybody can come up here. Everybody can be here. Everybody can be great. Because the more people that think they're great, the less motherfucking black women will put up with this type of motherfucking bullshit, nigga. So no, I am very confident in myself, and I know how it feels and how good it feels versus how putting up with bullshit and crumbs feel. And I want to drag you by the fucking hair to just come over, get over here. I don't play Mortal Kombat. You don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. It's that motherfucking Mortal Kombat. Every black one I'm seeing caping for these motherfucking niggas. I just want to be like, get over here. You stop it. Fuck that nigga. But you can't, because you can't make people like, because some people are like Essie and they're too far gone. Like, I can't force motherfuckers to see the light. I can only give you an idea of what the light looks like so far, because I'm still cultivating that light till the day I die. You're supposed to keep growing and evolving and changing to the day you die, right? You're not supposed to be at a standstill emotionally to where you're not open to new ideas and new, situations. Like, you'll have calm moments of peace that last for a very long time, but like, you just want to seek out new ideas because it's fun. When you are confident and you love yourself, you just want to add more to the menagerie of amazingness that is you, and all the amazingness things that's in the world and shit like that. And like, I want other bitches to feel this. So I'm not like arrogant. Some people might take it as arrogant because they mistake confidence for arrogance, because sometimes it can sound the same. But no, I want all y'all niggas to feel this. I want black men to feel this, because if they feel this, if they feel their emotions, understand themselves and love themselves and do what they're supposed to be doing, then we could cultivate this Wakanda that we're supposed to be cultivating. And the fact that every little crumb that these motherfuckers throw out, we are grasping onto like a bitch in the desert with no water, and you just getting a drop to drink, and you just saying that's enough. You on the verge of dying, and these motherfuckers just have to throw you a drop of water, and you're just like, oh, you saved my life, as you ride into the second heart attack due to malnourishment. I got a drop of water, bitch. You don't deserve that. You don't deserve to be treated. We are queens. We are goddesses. As I was looking at every black woman and girl on this show is gorgeous. And then you got them around this rat fink looking ass nigga. And I'm just like, do y'all not see how you are the most powerful in the room? Like, you don't see. Oh, Jesus. And that's how I move. I move knowing I move through a room. I move through my life knowing that I'm the most powerful bitch in the room, just on the basis of me loving myself so much. Because most motherfuckers in this bitch don't love themselves enough. It don't matter how much money you got, fame, notoriety. You don't love your motherfucking self enough. And as soon as I know that, I don't play off of it. I don't manipulate it. I just know that I don't need to worry. I don't need to worry about you affecting me. You don't love yourself enough. You're self-conscious. Like, why are you dating a 19-year-old and you're 45? Like, you are in arrested development. Like, you still have a child mind. Like, you just stuck on one part of the childhood and you just rolled with that all the way up to 45, and now you got to be around other children just to like feel like something in the world, because a bitch that's your age makes you feel inferior because you don't like your fucking self. I mean, that's what when I'm around inferior niggas, that's what's going on in my brain. That's what I'm thinking. I think they can read. That's why niggas don't talk to me. Niggas I'll look you up and down and see the insecurity that causes you to do fuck shit. And I'm not talking about simple, flaws that people have, like they're depressed, they're anxious. I'm talking about the shit like this. The shit, manipulative shit. Shit where you feel inferior and you can't have a conversation with nobody and you can't, girl. So Freedom's an alcoholic and he's Menzies' friend, and he's just so upset, and I just, what's going to happen to Freedom, And then we got Mpume. Mpume is his daughter. She's his youngest child with Joyce, or she's the middle child now because they had a son. She's daddy's girl. She's daddy's girl, and she knows it, and he's been a strong pillar for her. I'm sure that even before all this happened, though, he wasn't like a deep emotional connection. He would just buy her shit and be a fun dad, and that created her being a daddy's girl. But I'm sure she's not able to talk to him. Maybe talk to him about boys, and he'll tell her to stay away from the niggas, and that'll be about it. But like deep emotional shit, she probably goes to her mom for that. And then her dad, he buys her shit, and then they go to like Disneyland and shit, like. And that's what makes her daddy's girl, and she doesn't know that because she's a child. She doesn't know that shit is superficial when your dad can't like relate to you emotionally. It needs to be all of it. It needs to be the fun, the adventure, and you need to be relating to them emotionally and their feelings and how you impact your children and all this other stuff, and you're not. And so the way she deteriorates over time into hating this nigga after seeing how he treats her mom, being gone for a year. She was off of that nigga as soon as she saw how he treated her mom and was gone for a year. And then he popped back up, and then he brainwashed all of them into thinking it was okay. But then Lupita comes back into the picture, and the twins come back into the picture, and Mpume is crashing the hell out because she was starting to like be connected to her dad again and feel connected to her dad again. And so she comes with her letter, girl. Oh God. Oh God. This nigga is the CEO, the president, the god of these evil niggas in these movies. Like, I can't look at his face again and nothing else without being upset. But I mean, I'm sure they're gonna put him in other things, and it'll be fine. It will. This isn't Hollywood. This is South Africa, and I really hope that they're not going by, white supremacist Hollywood dictates. In the name of Jesus, praise God. And so, like, nigga, like, oh God. She reads him this letter. And this nigga gets and you have to know when someone's uncomfortable, even though their behavior isn't showing you that they're uncomfortable. This nigga got so uncomfortable emotionally with dealing, because that's how manipulative niggas show that they feel guilt. You're making them feel the emotion of guilt, but they don't know what it is. They just know that it feels really uncomfortable and they want it to stop. And so they do shit like try to ignore you, talk over you, have a temper tantrum, things like that, because they don't want to feel that uncomfortable feeling, right? So she's reading him the letter. And then this thing gonna turn up the television while she's reading him the letter, and I was just like, are you girl? Yes, because I've experienced that before. That dead-eyed look that niggas be getting when you try to be emotional with them. They go, and that's the scariest shit, nigga, when it's like they go from there's light in their eyes to there's nothing. And that's why you gotta be cautious around niggas, because they'll walk around looking like all the light is in their eyes and all the feelings and all the emotions. And like as soon as you say any slight thing that triggers them, it's like dead eye immediately. I'm not dealing with that. You can keep that. You can keep that dead eye. Keep that shit over there. I don't trust that. I don't believe in that. That is the devil. In the name of Jesus, praise God. And so she keeps reading the letter. She reads it louder, starts crying even more. And so then this nigga gets up and goes and sits on the couch, and it gets to this breaking point. He can't stand it. He can't handle it. And he just tells her, just put the letter down and I'll read it myself. And she puts the letter down, and I just feel like they should have shown him throwing the letter away, because I felt like that's what he did. He didn't read that. He didn't read that letter, love. And that is just a clear point of who these motherfuckers are. That's who they are. These these motherfuckers that can switch between having life in their eyes to nothing, and just that's the evil lurking underneath the light that you thought you saw, and it's some bullshit. I just and so she slowly over time starts to hate her dad. Like she starts to hate this nigga, despise him, don't even want to be around him. He's a piece of shit. The whole family does eventually, but like she hates this nigga. And like I don't even like she hates him even more when she finds out about Lindani. And but like the thing is like she's still a child-minded person, so the ability to fully disconnect, especially when that nigga's still around, you develop that with time and with learning and with understanding yourself. Now you can send a child to therapy when they're young, and they can learn to fully disconnect emotionally through therapy, trauma therapy and stuff like that. But if most people aren't doing that, so usually that isn't learned till you're older. And when you take the reins and you start working on your mental health and learning how to fully disconnect, so that these niggas can't just pop back up in your life and pull on your trauma strings and trigger you back into hop, skipping and jumping back with them, right? And so like, because he got HIV and came back to the house and she had to see him every day, she ain't cold with it like that no more when he's sick and weak. And she starts to feel emotions for him again. And when he dies, she does this whole speech at the funeral talking about how, and every woman left a little part of themselves. No, they didn't. Essie taught him that she was the blueprint. Essie taught him that he just wants a bitch that'll stay quiet and not say nothing. And then she was like, Mupita taught him that he likes seductress bitches, but he don't like seductress bitches that can't keep their mouth shut and not say nothing. And Joyce taught him that he needed a bitch to be the face of the family, so for his reputation. Don't do that, girl. Don't do that. But she's a child, and so even still, young adult, child-minded, ain't lived long enough to really know shit about shit, right? Process shit, learn how to work through shit, know the deeper levels of of why people are doing what they're doing, and take that to heart and shit like that, right? So she gonna say she pulled her little siblings up, and she gonna say all the things she needed to say. So he died with his daughter's love, and they all loved him in some enmeshed toxic way, but whatever, nigga. Minzy is bare from obsession. No, he is. If he had that willow stick, he would have made Lindani his little obsession slave, and he would have worked it out. Her shitting on herself and all. He would have figured it the fuck out. He didn't see her as a person. And you got these niggas around you telling you to pursue her. His dad telling him to pursue her, even though she has a boyfriend and shit like that, and she seems to really, be connected to her boyfriend in the beginning and stuff like that, before dad started grooming and molesting her and shit. And this nigga still was trying to pursue her. Like, she has a boyfriend. You don't think that her feelings matter about her boyfriend? You just think that you could just make her, like, he built up this whole shit in his head and fell in love. And I'm like, how you loving this bitch when she don't even like you like that? And she even said it when he was like trying to kiss up and call her a slut after finding out about her and her dad and shit, and he was trying to touch on her and sexually assault her and shit. And like, she was like, I've never even been in a relation. We never even talked like that. What are you talking about? And he was just like, how much money is he giving you? And I'm just But he got that from his daddy. He got that from his dad, objectifying women, putting women in slots. They're supposed to be subservient to me, and if I like them, they're supposed to want me back, and it doesn't matter how they feel. They don't have emotions. What are emotions? I don't even understand my own emotions. So, like, what are their emotions? If I don't understand my own emotions, why would I understand their emotions? And so, basically, Menzie is bare from obsession. He grows to hate his dad because he looked up to his dad. He looked up to his dad. He felt his dad was like the thing to be. And then his dad turned out to be that bitch. Even after, because even after he was gone for a year and he hurt his mama's feelings, he was still ready to accept his dad back into the house when Mpume was like, fuck that nigga. Why are you accepting him back into the house? And he was ready immediately brainwashed from birth to believe that this is the way men are supposed to be. We're supposed to objectify women. He just wasn't a sex addict yet. He just wasn't a nigga that was just going to use women and take advantage of them yet. But it was already primed in him to potentially be that way because he was already objectifying women as the magic pixie dream girl. Mm-hmm. You were already objectifying women in this way. It's just a hop, skip, and jump to objectify women in that way. It's not that. And usually you see promiscuity with like childhood sexual abuse and stuff like that, but we don't know. We didn't see any of that. And so, sometimes you can just get sex addiction from watching a lot of pornos or seeing your dad cheat on your mama all the time. And now you got a sex addiction because that's how you learn to cope with it and shit. And so when he saw Lindani sucking his dad's dick, he crashed the hell out because she stepped outside of the box he put her in his head. So it wasn't just the betrayal because that's why he was still trying to fuck her. see what you gotta be here with me. Be here with me. Because Mpume cut her the fuck off. She said, I don't talk to that bitch. She's got some shit going on. But he was still trying to fuck her because basically he just saw her as a new type of object. The betrayal just made him put her into a new box and made him say, well, all women go in that box now. None of them I can see as the magic pixie dream girl that I'm gonna marry one day. They're all just fuckable bitches with no feelings and emotions, because I don't even understand my own feelings and emotions. Girl, get out of my girl, look how deep, layers and layers and layers. She even put a little bear character in this motherfucker. Like, she already wrote the shit. She did that shit in 2014. She showed the layers of and how they can turn into that. We saw Menzie go from this to that. We saw Lindani go from this to that. Like, oh God, this was a masterpiece. It's a masterpiece. It was frustrating. It was upsetting. It was all the things, but this has taught me even more, cemented it. You need to watch shit like this when you're ready to listen, so that it can just cement in you to never allow some shit like this ever in life, in the name of Jesus. Oh God, I couldn't live like this. The hell and damnation. You think about like your mothers and your aunties and them not loving themselves, and them being in fucked up relationships, and them being mistreated, and them, and you just knowing that that can be avoided altogether, and maybe in avoiding that, that will be the thing that actually makes the niggas, figure themselves out. Not all this trying to contort yourself into these different shapes to make them love you, but actually just loving yourself and minding your business, and then letting them show you if they're worthy or not. Let's just like all the animals in the animal kingdom. The birds, the peacocks that have the big feathers and shit. The ones with the big feathers are the nigga peacocks. And the ones with the prettiest feathers are the ones that get the bitches. Look at the work they put in. The birds that be dancing and shit, and putting their feathers out and shit and all other shit to be attracting bitches and shit. Like, I just the lions that be fighting each other over these bitches just to find the right bitch to be with it. Why aren't these human niggas following nature? They so stuck on nature and all the homophobic shit and biology and all this other shit and transphobic shit. Why if you so focused on motherfucking nature and biology, nigga, you need to be following what they doing in the animal kingdom. And dancing for a bitch, nigga. Oh my gosh. So Menzies bear and he turns into a sex addict. I just And then we get to Jonas. I mean, we've touched on Jonas throughout. Like, he was abandoned by his dad, and his dad was an alcoholic, and I don't know, somewhere along the line he turned into a sex addict. I don't know if it was the niggas he was hanging around talking him into it, or what he was saying, or maybe his dad was cheating on his mom a lot. And he just is a narcissist, pure narcissist. I'll put a list of symptoms, but like pure narcissist. Like, he needs attention. That's why he needs his cover wife, Joyce, to be the face of their marriage, because he needs a face for their marriage, but he also needs to feel like a man. So he needs subservient bitches around him to feel like a man, while he has his bitch that actually is his equal, because at least financially, because she owns half of the company, because that was her dad's company. And so because they're really insecure inside, they don't like themselves, and they can't sit with that negativity and all the memories. And so that's why when he was sitting on the couch after she fed him borax and he was by himself and he kept having him flashbacks to all the evils he's done in the world, that was him feeling guilty. And she perfectly represented girl, the layers. This was a fucking masterpiece. Like, oh my gosh. And every black woman can feel it, and I know you can feel it. And I think that's a part of why a lot of black American women haven't been talking about it like it should. I haven't seen maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm not paying attention close enough, but like, I just feel like some women aren't talking about it because they see themselves, because they're so layered. It's hard to miss all of the pieces of the things that we put up with for these niggas, and how we abandon ourselves for crumbs and crackles. Instead of, you just love yourself. That's all. Just come over here to the light. Go to the light, Caroline. Go into the light, Caroline. Caroline. Oh God. But I had to learn, you can't force motherfuckers. I've lost plenty of client trying to force motherfuckers to see that they deserve to be in the light, and they do not deserve any just crumbs and pieces of shit on the ground. And I just feel like, I've gotten better at just allowing them to figure it out for themselves. And some of them have figured it out and they set boundaries in their relationships. And then their nigga figured it out because they saw how much their woman loved themselves and realized that if they don't love their woman like their woman loves themselves, then they're going to lose their women. And so either you're going to figure it out or you're going to lose them. And some of them actually love the women that they're with, and they figured it the fuck out. And so, and some of them left them niggas. It is what it is. And every day I just applaud those women for the power that they have to just put their foot down in their relationships and be like, nah, nigga, and just let that shit go, or set boundaries that allow that shit to evolve into something better. Because pick one. Pick a path, because you've been tortured subconsciously and you don't even know it, and you wondering why you feeling sick all the time, and it's because this nigga. So he's just a bastard. Like, I don't like, I've talked and touched on him throughout this whole thing. He's a bastard. Like, he is a fucking bastard, and he is a piece of shit. And I hope he went to hell. And I just I'm glad he's dead. I'm glad his death was slow. Die slow, motherfucker. Die slow. You and your fofo. Or me and my fofo, nigga. Whatever that nigga said. Shit. Oh God, he died. It was beautiful to watch. The torture. He shit on himself on the floor and just because he raped and beat 2 bitches in one day, nigga. Like, I don't know what you want me to say. Like, he shit on himself good. Oh God, that nigga shit on himself. And that young bitch just left him there. That young bitch just left that nigga there on the floor. Shit, I wish she hadn't put him in the shower. I don't care. You still got love for this motherfucker. I don't. You rape me and you're done. We're done. Like, I don't know with you. Oh God. Absolutely, girl. I can't find any empathy for this character. You deserve everything you got. You did. You deserve to be set up. Because I've been wondering why nobody tried to kill him. I've been going, this is 7th episode. This isn't enough for a motherfucker to plot on this nigga. Like, cool. Oh, and it was so delicious the way she did it too. Like, I was just like, why are you doing it these clumsy ass? Because she was emotional. She wasn't thinking straight. And you can't just Google that shit, because the history. They look that up on the internet when they investigate into the death. And so you can't just look that shit up. If you wanted to go to a different town and like go to the library, shut up. Then that could be on camera too. You gotta be really strategic with these things. You can't just, not that I would be killing anybody, because a nigga's not gonna make me go to jail. It stinks in there like ass and feet and body odors and all this other shit, and a nigga is not gonna take my freedom away from me. Like, I'll just leave you first. And if you put me into a position where I have to defend myself, well, shit, I had to defend myself, and now a nigga's dead. I don't know what you. This nigga broke into my house, officer. And now he's dead. Now he's, I don't know what you want me to say. Like, I need us to love ourselves, because what I say when people ask me how I feel about sinners? I be like, my first response is, you mean that movie where they killed 2 black women and he walked off with a white woman? Because what can you say to that? What justifies killing off 2 black women as black men? What justifies that? Because it was pretty colors? And then walking off with a white woman, like, on top of it, the cherry on top of the... what justifies killing two black women and walking off with a white woman? Because they had a scene with all of the different, orishas and the stuff dancing. So it's okay. Well, if you gonna add the African gods into the motherfucking, like, I don't think the African gods are equal opportunity. They for the men and the black men and the black women. So you cherried on top of the African. You cherried a white woman on top of the African gods after layering a layer of frosting of killing two black women. You sacrificed two black women on top of the African gods. And then you cherried on top of white woman. Girl, get out of my... That's not my business, though, because those are entities that, I just try not to fuck with entities and spirits like that. That's not my business. So no, I can't. Every time Essie face came on, all I saw was Annie, and I was like, this is what Annie was going through. This is what Annie was going through this whole time, and nobody cared, and they just wanted to use her magic and take from her and then kill her. And and look at it, Essie was driven insane. Like, she abandoned herself so much that it made her abandon her own children. Like, Joyce didn't abandon her children, but she did to a certain extent fuck Menzie up a little bit more, because you can't. That's, girl, that child is fucked up now, because a part of that is because you made him do that and pretend, and girl. And so, I just be looking at Essie, and I just be like, I can never be down bad like that. She is the epitome of, she touched a dead body and washed it. A dead body that has left her alone for decades, and it treated her children like the other women, to the point where her children are her daughter's trying to kiss her uncle because she thinks sex is what keeps men around, no matter what your relationship is to them. And fucked my child mind up that much. You fucked my child's mind up, that girl. They might not be able to find that nigga. But then I wouldn't allow a nigga that fucked up into my space, because look what happens. It doesn't just fuck you up. It fucks up any child that you have with that nigga. Whether it's just because of the absence, whether it's because they're in and out of the child's life, whether it's because they're there all the time beating on the fucking child. And girl, oh, poor Annie. No, we need to I will need every black woman to get to this place where you just love yourself so much that it's just immediately discernment just pops on anytime these niggas try to cross you. Like, no, I'm not gonna. Why would I deal with that? That's stupid. Why would I let you treat me like that? No, I'm not gonna go on a coffee date. I deserve a fucking, like, I like restaurants. I don't want to go for coffee. You gonna buy me food? Like, I am worth food, nigga. Like, I am worth me being able to dress up and look pretty. Like, no, like, you're not gonna disrespect me. Like, you're not gonna disrespect and call me out of my name and shit and think that I'm okay with that. You're not gonna cheat on me. Like, what are you? As soon as I find out, it's over. Like, I don't, because look, like, everyone could have ended up with HIV if she hadn't strategically planned this. That little baby Lindani might have HIV. Who knows? He was sitting up in there fucking Lindani for a minute, girl. Like, oh God, don't let that little baby have HIV. Oh, no, she been through too much. All these women and these little girls, they done been through too much. And I just need that little baby not to have HIV. In the name of God, she needs to be able to have a point in life where she can just start over. Yeah, they can get it down to the point where it's undetectable, but like, why we gotta have it in the first place? Like, if we can avoid it, I'm not gonna wish that on her, the fuck, just because you get to the point it's undetectable. No, nigga, fuck that shit. No, like, if you got it, then it is what it is. But if we can avoid it, I'm gonna say I hope that she was able to avoid it in the name of Jesus. Praise God. So no, this nigga, I hope he burns in hell. Like, and I just, his character, I don't know the real nigga. I don't know him. he could be, and look at how I sounded all angry and shit. See, it's gonna be hard to disconnect from. But this felt good. I needed to vent. I was just thinking about it and thinking about it and just all the things and all the horriblenesses of it. It's like a horror movie and a suspense and a Lifetime movie drama. I need more of this out of these African countries. I need more of this. Like, I be watching the Hollywood movies, but like this did some shit. This was real life. These are real experiences of real women, and how this shit just keeps getting passed down and keeps getting passed down until you have the cycle breakers. And I just need more cycle breakers. Come over here. Come over here. Stop being over there in the dark. You don't need to be in the dark. Come to the light. I finished it. It was long, but I finished it. I don't have nothing else to say about Jonasi, bitch. Fuck that nigga. He's a piece of shit. You know what a narcissist is. Spending time on that motherfucker. I'm spending time on the devastation. The devastation that he created. Because these people are more important than him. Because you should already know what it looks like. And yeah, we should be teaching niggas not to rape and harm us and shit, but like, no. Like, we should be teaching them not to rape and harm us and abuse us and all this other shit, but like, in the meantime, if the good majority of them aren't going to listen and no one's going to set up processes for these niggas to learn, in the meantime, there are monsters and evil people out there, evil niggas. And we need to do what we need to do to protect ourselves. And our first line of defense is, don't open the door, Annie, when that nigga come up to your house. And have a shotgun in that bitch. Just in case, because those were the times, right? So those were the times. So I just imagine her standing on her porch with a shotgun, and then I feel like the nigga will try to take a step forward, and she shoots the ground in front of him because she has such good aim. Look at me, I'm giving her a backstory. Because her papa taught her when she was little, because, you know, she had her dad in the home, and that's why she has the backbone enough to be like, no, I deserve to be treated better than this. You left me here with a dead body in my front yard. And then this nigga decides to, you know, not, you know, fuck with her. And, you know, whatever happens. She can protect herself because she got the hoodoo voodoo and shit. And so if the vampires take over the town, she knows what she needs to do. And then she'll just hook up with the Native Americans. And they will ride across the plains killing vampires, and that would have been a sequel. But no, instead we threw the African gods in there, and we frosted over and killed 2 black women, and then we cherried on top walking out with a white woman. And that's none of my business, because you just shouldn't be messing with equal opportunity entities. If you don't care about the equal opportunity part, the other side of the coin, then you should just make shit with just white bitches instead of, you know, insulting the entities and shit, is all I'm saying. Like, I just I don't care. I said I was going in. I told y'all in the beginning I'm going in, and I'm going to go hard, because I was hyper fixated on this for 7 days. Kept thinking about it, or however long this shit's been out. It feels like the full week. And just ruminating and twiddling my thumbs and just and get this shit off my chest. This was triggering. This is a whole triggering experience, and all of it was so triggering. So I think I have nightmares about this shit, nigga. Because it just felt like each woman is a representation of who I used to be. And just to re-experience it, and then re-experience the evil that was wrought upon me through this rat fake face motherfucker, and just, oh god, it makes you just upset for the little girl and the little young adult you were that had to go through these torturous experiences, and you didn't have to experience that. You didn't have to, and to have it never be acknowledged in any way by anyone, by any media, and have motherfuckers think that you could just go through shit like that and just stoically move forward like a fucking brick wall or some shit and not a human being, while inside you are burning. You are burning and you can't still burning, and no one will acknowledge it. And then to have other black women be so lost in the sauce and dissociated that the only way they can cope is just to go along with these niggas and what they're saying. It's because at least they're here. At least they're here. At least that's, they don't have to respect me. At least they're here. That bitch ain't got nobody. She's single. That felt good to say. Oh, God, did. Hey, yeah. No, I'm not gonna sit up here and pretend, nigga. This is my platform where I get to say what I need to say, and that I needed to get that shit off my chest. I needed to, because I'm gonna acknowledge it. Nobody else acknowledges what I went through, what I experienced, and what a lot of black women go through, and what we have to endure because of these niggas. I'm gonna fucking acknowledge it, bitch. Like, I'm not gonna sit up here and lie and pretend and take fucking crumbs and think that shit is okay. Absolutely fuck not. But for those that choose that path, God bless you. It's a long and hurtful path, and these niggas don't stop niggering. They don't slow down. They don't stop being evil and shit just because you tried to do your vagina in a different fashion and you thought that was going to make them stay, or you tried to cook them an 18-course meal and you thought that was going to make them stay, or you took the little crumbly crumbs that they showed you in the media and you thought because all these niggas like that shit, they're going to like me. That's going to make them, no. And even if you do get one of them niggas that are superficially like you for that stupid shit, they're just going to get worse. They're just going to get worse and worse as you age, and it's going to suck the life out of you. And then there's going to be nothing. It's going to be nothing. And I can't. Not off of superficial shit. Like, you got to show me some deep shit, nigga. Because I'm not going to end up in no shit like this. This is a web of horror and evil that I will not end up like. In the name of Jesus, praise God. My big words are big wordying and shit, even more so because I've been listening to the Vampire Lestat. I hear myself, I'm like, oh, I'm more poetical and shit. No, because she writes like that. She writes like that, and so it's like subconsciously sinks into your brain. That's why you should read more, because then you just become wittier and you don't stutter as much over your words and become more confident in your words the more you allow yourself to speak, because you're subconsciously like learning English and grammar and stuff while listening to a fun story. And so I just like to learn via fun. Like, that's how I work out. I work out via fun. Like, I hike and shit because I can like go and do my self-portraits and stuff like that. And I also like gain muscle and lose weight and all that other shit at the same time without even paying attention to it, I just like to find ways to do the things that you're supposed to do to keep yourself alive via fun, because why can't it be fun? Like, because if it's not fun, it's going to feel grueling and upsetting and stupid, and eventually it's going to feel so bad that I'm just going to stop. Like, I'm not going to keep doing this. I'm not going to keep doing this. Well, no, that felt good. Yes, it did. So I learned grammar and word confidence from reading books and shit. So next week I'm gonna do. That was a lot. I expressed so much. I just feel like exhausted. I just feel like I put a lot of energy out into the world, and I'm gonna go take me a good nap. In the name of Jesus, sun's still up. It's supposed to be the longest day of the year or some shit. Hopefully it's not like. I don't know how long this is going to be. I had to say what I needed to say, though. So, whatever. Fuck it. And so, like, I want to do episode 3 and 4 of the Vampire Lestat next week. And then I don't know what I'm going to do after that. I don't know. I was thinking of doing Backrooms because there's a black character in there. And I like him as an actor. I've liked him ever since, what is that movie? What is it? Is it one of them sci-fi movies? I'll put the thing, but I liked him ever since that movie. It was a good movie. I don't know if it made a lot of money, but it was good movies. I like weird shit. I know. I just, I like weird shit. It's just, it makes me feel wholesome. So I'm gonna do episode 3 and 4 of the Vampire Lestat next week, and I hope you enjoyed this show, this review. Let me know what you thought, and I feel like I said what I needed to say, so I don't know what you want to say, but I said what I needed to say. Let me know what you thought, and later days.